You are standing in a grocery store. The line ahead of you is not moving. You check your phone. You check it again. You look at the person in front of you, then back at your phone. Somewhere deep in your chest, a small fire starts to burn. You are angry at a stranger for buying too many cans of soup. You are angry at the cashier for being too slow. You are angry at the universe for making you wait. But here is what your brain will not tell you. You are not angry at the line. You are angry at silence. For most of human history, waiting was not a problem because waiting did not exist as a concept. Your ancestors did not stand in lines. They did not sit in traffic. They did not refresh a web page and watch a spinning wheel. When they wanted food, they tracked it. When they wanted shelter, they built it. Action followed desire almost immediately. The gap between wanting and getting was so thin it barely registered. But then everything changed. About 12,000 years ago, your ancestors stopped roaming. They planted seeds in the dirt and waited for the earth to answer. For the first time, a human had to want something now and receive it months later. The anthropologist James Suzman spent 30 years studying the Jew/Honzi people of southern Africa, one of the last societies on Earth to live as hunter-gatherers. He found that they work only about 15 hours a week. The rest of their time is spent in leisure, conversation, and rest. They do not wait. They do not save. They do not plan for a future harvest. When Suzman asked them about storing food for later, they laughed. The future, they said, will take care of itself. But your brain did not evolve in that world. Your brain evolved in a world where patience was not a virtue because it was not an option. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman spent decades mapping how your brain experiences time. He discovered something strange. Your brain does not measure waiting in minutes. It measures waiting in uncertainty. A 15-minute wait with a clear countdown feels shorter than a 5-minute wait with no information at all. The pain is not in the duration. The pain is in the not knowing. When you stand in a line with no end in sight, your brain enters a state that researchers call unoccupied time. Your thoughts start to spiral. You replay arguments from 3 years ago. You imagine disasters that will never happen. You invent reasons to be frustrated. The brain cannot tolerate empty space. It fills it with anxiety, and that anxiety feels like anger. But here is the twist that no one expects. The person who hates waiting the most is not the impatient person. It is the person who believes they are patient. In a 2012 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that people who rated themselves as highly patient were actually more likely to experience stress during waits than people who admitted they were impatient. The reason is brutal and simple. The self-described patient person is fighting a war inside their own head. They are trying to suppress the very frustration they feel, and that suppression costs energy. The impatient person lets the frustration out. The patient person swallows it, and it turns into something worse. It turns into resentment, then into a story about how the world is unfair, then into a permanent belief that other people are the problem. The line did not do this. The silence did. Your brain is not built for silence. It is built for motion, for tracking, for the constant low-level hum of survival. When that hum stops, the brain panics. It invents threats. It creates noise where there is none. This is why meditation is so difficult for so many people. It is not because silence is hard. It is because your brain has spent 200,000 years learning that silence means danger. Silence means the birds stopped singing. Silence means the wind changed. Silence means something is watching you. Your ancestors who ignored silence did not survive long enough to become your ancestors. Today, you live in a world designed to exploit this. Every app on your phone is built to fill the silence. Every notification is a rescue from the horror of an empty moment. When you reach for your phone in a line, you are not bored. You are afraid. You are doing exactly what your brain was built to do. You are filling the silence before it fills you. But the apps do not solve the problem. They only postpone it. The moment the screen goes dark, the silence returns, and it returns louder than before. The philosopher Blaise Pascal wrote nearly 400 years ago that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He was not being poetic. He was being biological. Your brain is a prediction machine, and predictions need data. When the data stops, the machine overheats. It starts generating its own data, and that data is almost always worst case. The person in front of you is not just slow. They are an obstacle placed by the universe to punish you. The line is not just a line. It is evidence that the world does not care about your time. None of this is true. But in the silence, truth is the first thing to leave. So what can you do with this? You cannot rewire 200,000 years of evolution with a breath exercise, but you can notice. The next time you are in a line and the fire starts in your chest, ask yourself what you are actually feeling. Is it anger at the cashier? Or is it fear of the silence? Is it impatience with the person in front of you? Or is it your brain screaming for motion because motion meant survival? The question itself is the answer. Because the moment you name the silence, it loses its power. The moment you see the fear, it stops being anger. The line does not move faster, but you stop waiting. You start existing. And that is something your ancestors, for all their motion, never quite learned to do. You are standing in a grocery store. The line ahead of you is not moving. But this time, you do not reach for your phone. You let the silence stay. And for the first time in 200,000 years, you are not afraid of it.